What's the creepiest thing you've accidentally discovered? My elderly neighbor had been leaving me notes pretending to be my dead mother for over a year, and I only found out when she had a stroke. After my mom died from cancer 2 years ago, I started finding handwritten notes around my apartment. Simple things like, "Don't forget to eat breakfast," or "I'm proud of you," written in handwriting that looked exactly like hers. At first, I thought I was losing my mind with grief. Maybe I was writing them myself and forgetting. But the notes kept appearing in places I never went, inside my medicine cabinet, tucked into books I hadn't opened in months, even taped inside my shower. I convinced myself Mom was somehow reaching out from beyond. It was comforting, even though it scared me. The notes always appeared when I was having particularly bad days, like she knew when I needed encouragement most. "Remember to pay the electric bill," appeared on my kitchen counter the day before it was due. "You're stronger than you think," showed up on my bathroom mirror after I'd been crying about losing my job. "Take your vitamins," was stuck to my coffee maker when I'd been getting sick. I never told anyone about the notes because I didn't want people to think I was crazy. Part of me didn't want to question it too hard because it felt like the only connection I had left to my mom. Then last week, my neighbor Mrs. Chen had a stroke. I was the one who found her collapsed in her hallway when I went to check why her newspaper was still outside at 3 p.m. While the paramedics were working on her, I noticed her apartment door was open. That's when I saw my mom's handwriting supplies on Mrs. Chen's kitchen table. There were practice sheets where she'd been copying my mother's handwriting from old birthday cards, dozens of them, getting more and more accurate over time. She had photos of handwritten grocery lists and notes that my mom had given her years ago when they were neighbors. On her counter was a half-finished note that said, "Don't work too late tonight," in my mother's perfect script. I found a notebook where Mrs. Chen had been tracking my schedule. She knew when I left for work, when I came home, when I seemed upset. She'd been watching me through her peephole and timing when to slip the notes under my door or through my window. The creepiest part was finding a folder labeled Emma's Mother, filled with details about my mom's cancer treatment, her favorite sayings, even copies of sympathy cards from the funeral that she must have taken from my mailbox. There was also a calendar where she'd marked important dates: my birthday, the anniversary of Mom's death, even the day I got laid off from my previous job. At the hospital, Mrs. Chen couldn't speak because of the stroke, but when she saw me, she started crying. She kept trying to point to something and making writing motions with her hand. A nurse brought her a pen and paper. With shaky handwriting, she wrote, "I'm sorry. You looked so sad. I just wanted to help." I sat there staring at this frail 78-year-old woman who had spent over a year studying my dead mother's handwriting so she could comfort me. She'd been grieving too. My mom had been her only friend in the building. The really heartbreaking part was realizing that Mrs. Chen had been lonely enough to spend hours practicing someone else's handwriting just to feel connected to another person. I squeezed her hand and wrote back, "Thank you for taking care of me." She died 3 days later, and I was the only person at her funeral. I still have all the notes. They're not from my mom, but they're from someone who loved her enough to keep her memory alive for a stranger who needed hope. Sometimes the creepiest discoveries reveal the most beautiful truths about human kindness.